Welcome back to Therapists Uncut. My name is Alexia, and I am here with my co-host, Nikki Young. And if this is your first time, welcome to the TU crew. If you are a returning listener, we love you. Welcome back. Keep listening. We appreciate you. Today, what are we talking about today, Nikki?
Well, that's actually interesting because we knew we wanted to talk about social media, and we had an idea as we came to our table, but then it just morphed and we realized there's just that in and of itself is a topic that we couldn't, we could narrow it down, but there's just so many things to talk about with social media and our mental health. So that alone could be a topic that it's so pervasive in every aspect of our life, physically, mentally, emotionally.
Exactly. I think we're mind blown at the conversation we were having of how present it is in every single aspect of not everybody's life, but a lot of people's lives. So today we're just talking about the presence of social media and sharing some themes that have come up in our offices or in our relationships or in our personal lives, because we struggle sometimes too. And we want to share it with you guys and hopefully share some tools that can help you manage the social media presence in your life.
Welcome to the Therapists Uncut Podcast, where off-the-clock therapists who happen to be friends share their uncensored thoughts about real life. Join us weekly in spreading positivity and making mental health relatable through casual conversation, inspirational stories, and real talk with friends who happen to be therapists. Please welcome your co-hosts, Nikki Young and Alexia.
All right, so this is not new, but there's been, a lot in the news in terms of negativity and large, just terrible events. And it's come up in my office quite frequently, the conversation of doomsday scrolling, right? And a couple episodes ago, Alexia was really talking about humanity, and it's something that we want to really bring to the show, the concept of humanity. But it's something I constantly think about, and I don't know, right? I am a therapist and a business owner. I don't research these things in terms of sociology or history or whatnot, but I could do my own research, but I don't have any education in this. But I wonder, are we genuinely losing our humanity as a culture and a society, or is it just that it's blasted in front of us 24/7, whether it be the news, social media, and it's just constantly in our face, so it feels that way? Because this, we do know from research, right? The news, they use the negativity for ratings and reviews, which we do not. So yay, Therapists Uncut.
2 points for us.
Right? We're doing this through positivity. It's harder. So subscribe, and share, please.
Harder.
Yeah. And as we talk about stopping the scrolling and doomsday, don't stop ours. Keep it coming with us.
We're the exception.
Just kidding.
Yeah, we are just kidding, guys. We want you guys to live life and enjoy nature and enjoy the things around you. Yeah. So come check us out on social media at the website, therapistuncut.com, and then take a break and go live life. That is what we encourage. So we talked about humanity, and it is like that accessibility. Everything is available to you at the tip of your fingers through all sorts of forms. We have it on our watches, on our phone, on our computer, on our laptop, on our tablets. It's everywhere. Nikki, are you wearing your watch today? Oh, by the way, if you have been listening from episode 1, you will know the argument that Nikki made about not getting a smartwatch.
Yeah, I was 100,000% against them. Because of what we're talking about, right? Just the constant, we had a previous episode on social media and just the constant inundation of it. And that's why I was so opposed to them. So somebody asked me, how do I like my smartwatch? Now, we're not about to get any endorsements from any smartwatch companies, because I'm about to say, I'm still not hugely on board. But what I have found is that for things like this, or in sessions or in meetings, I really like it, because when I get a text from one of the kids, I can just slyly make sure it's not an emergency. And I would honestly say that
Are you successful at being sly?
Well, I guess I would say that I think so, but, who knows?
I'm happy that it works for Nikki. I
don't wear it all the time.
I don't know.
I don't suggest. I don't know.
But the fact that we're even having this conversation is why we're doing this episode.
Right?
It's literally living on our wrists.
Fucking electronic devices on our wrists that tells us everything.
It's like 1984 on steroids. If you haven't read 1984, it's a book, by the way.
I was going to say, I don't think they had these in 1984. Yeah. It's nuts. It's nuts when you actually stop and think about it.
I don't know why this blows our mind because it's so normal and a part of our culture now. But if we stop and think about it, it is mind-blowing. Social media is used for business purposes. So we'll use ourselves as an example. Nikki and I use it for business purposes as business owners and entrepreneurs. Nikki and I use it for personal reasons to stay connected with our family, whatever the personal reasons are. Nikki and I talk about it in therapy because our clients are coming in the office talking about how I feel like I cannot disconnect. I feel like I am always on call, or I always have to be available, or I'm always distracted by a notification or text, or I feel like I'm so overwhelmed that I can't even respond to DMs. I can't respond to messages or emails. It's literally all, and then our kids. And it's all over our kids' life. So it's just everywhere. Yeah, that was my tangent. Okay. So what are we going to do about it? All right, focus. How does social media play a role in your life? For some of you, this is not one bit. I don't do any of that stuff. And I'm almost a little jealous.
I'm giving you thumbs up to those that are listening to this.
Because it's watching. So embedded in our culture.
Yeah.
For those of you who use it, maybe you use 1 or 2 platforms. Maybe you're on all platforms, whatever it may be. What does it look like in your life? How does it show up? And is it playing the role that you want it to play? Like, let's talk about the scrolling, right? We talked about in a previous episode, social media is intentional about their scroll, right? There's no end. Once you get to the end, it refreshes and gives you 10,000 more posts to go through. You just keep going and going and going. And I heard somebody say, well, when I'm off of it, I don't look at social media for a few days. I'm fine. But then the moment I start, then I kind of start. It's like that addictive piece, right? I just want a little more. I'm going to spend a little more time. And I'm going to convince myself that this is actually productive, but maybe it's not.
And the way the world is moving in social media, right? The clips are so short that it's intentional, right? There's a reason that this is the format. I had dinner with some of my very good friends the other night, and that was something we were talking about where now if something comes across your feed and it's, 8 to 10 minutes, I'm going to speak for myself and my friends because we all agreed this. It was like, oh, God, nobody's got time to watch an 8-minute video, right?
But I got an hour and 60 minutes to keep scrolling through all of the 3-minute clips or 30-second clips.
Right, and I am honestly scared of what this is doing to our brains. It's frightening, honestly. If you stop and think about it, it's a little scary as to what this is doing to our attention span. Yes. And then I'm going to go post another reel for you guys a little bit later today. So, you know what? But
I know we're like contradicting ourselves all over the place. I think we're still trying to figure out what role it plays in our life. And
and we actually have a meeting scheduled after this recording to talk about the role of social media with Therapists Uncut and what it's going to look like. And how much?
But
how often?
It's embarrassing because there's a new rule now, right? Like professionally, you can now be a social media strategist, or you can be a social media content creator, or you could be a creator, because that's what our culture has given us. And I think it's great that there's new opportunities and we're getting creative and we're able to use our creativity in different avenues. But Nikki and I, when we were talking about this, Nikki mentioned that somebody she was around had said, when is social media like my self-care, my come down, or when is it I call it a problem, but when is it a problem? And when is it now my avoidance technique and escapism?
And on the flip side, when the doomsday scrolling, right? When we have all these negative events that are occurring in society and in our culture, at what point, because it's one thing to be informed, but it's another thing to just inundate ourselves with the negativity. And so I know that it's been a big conversation in our office. And then people struggle with, okay, at what point am I disconnecting for self-care? And at what point am I putting my head in the stand? And where's that line and where's that boundary?
Mm-hmm. I don't even know that I'm super clear on where.
I don't know that there's a clear-cut answer. I think it's going to be like my answer to so many things. It depends.
It does depend.
Because it's, again, we're not completely bashing this. It's amazing in many aspects. And yet, it's not in many.
Right. And I think just like most things in life, right, and moderated and small doses, things are great. But excessive use or engagement of anything.
That's a perfect point.
Where does it land?
That's a perfect point. I mean, even if you want to make a stupid, silly comparison to a beer, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'd very much enjoy a nice, tasty cold beer. But in excess, that would not be
a good idea. Because again, at what point is it my self-care, and at one point is it now a problem?
Yeah.
So apply that same logic to your social media use. I always say social media, but I might just tie in phone use as a whole with your emails and your texting. Email has been rough. I think as many companies who traditionally were not remote, who have now moved to remote, there are some higher risks for blurred boundaries around availability. So that phone is almost like, it's almost triggering just to have a notification pop up, even if the reminder is like, take your vitamins, because it's ding, ding, ding. Unless you silence the notifications, which I would highly recommend.
Yeah, and there's an episode on that, but I've got most of mine silenced just because I'm distractible, and it's done wonders. Love it. The only ones, okay, I'm squirreling. I'm announcing my squirrel moment. The only app that I have that really sends me a reminder is I downloaded a water reminder app because I was recognizing I was not doing great on my water intake just because I would get busy. So I got to rewind for this to be funny. My wife's answer to any ailment with the kids is drink some water. Are you dehydrated? And so it's become a thing in our household when anytime, like I stubbed my toe, one of us will shout, drink some water, right? It's a thing. So when this...
It's kind of like Windex on my big fat Greek.
Exactly.
If you guys have seen that movie.
100%. Stacy's Windex is water. Right? Drink some water. And it's funny because like the 2 out of 20 examples where it's actually water, she's like, see, you needed water. And we're like, so it's a thing.
It's now Nikki's
water.
big fat Greek household with water.
With water, yeah.
Okay, I like it.
So it's become a thing. So you know how your different apps have different tones when they notify you of things, right? Well, this water app has a very specific little ding. And so it's funny. The kids were like, what is that? I told them, Stacey asked. So now every time my phone dings, the whole house will go, drink some water. It's a thing.
Wait, where were we?
I don't know. Notifications.
Notifications. That is where we were. Yes. So think about what you need to do.
This is like, that was not a funny squirrel. Back to business.
It was cute. But be mindful of what strategies, if any, you need to help moderate your use of social media. Pay attention to how you feel before you get on social media. Pay attention to how you feel while you're on it. How long are you spending on it? I will say some social media apps have upped their game and allow you to now set a timer, and it will tell you directly from this. Came across this in settings when you hit your time limit, so it can be beneficial in that way. But also pay attention to what you're feeling like when you get off. And when I say I'm laughing, because think of the full range of emotions that you feel in any given day. Now put yourself on social media for like 10 minutes and think about how many emotions you go through as you scroll. I'm feeling depressed because of this crisis. I'm feeling excited because of this happy coming home video. I'm feeling sad for this reason. Like, it's a massive amount of like roller coaster emotions that you're going through as you scroll. And that just sounds exhausting.
Right? Because viral videos become viral based on how they make somebody feel. Right? Whether it's usually an intense emotional response of one shape or form. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, it's exhausting. Yet here we are, still scrolling before bed or during our break because I need to, unwind. I'm just going to...
She doesn't actually do this, FYI. She's just being funny.
I don't actually take breaks, so... Just kidding. I might not be kidding. I really need to work
on another episode of Self-Care.
Better boundaries, again, why I'm in therapy. Anyways, pay attention to what role it plays in your life and whether or not it's the role you want it to play.
All right, and even if I think I'm just because of what I've been hearing in the last couple of weeks in my office, I want to spend a little bit of time, too, as we wrap up about the negativity aspect. And, sometimes social media serves this great purpose of cute cat videos and funny things, right, to help us decompress a little bit, distract ourselves, and if we put those healthy boundaries, all that. Healthy, effective, likely, right? It's like America's Funniest Home Videos, but
I love that
the modern version, right? Small doses. But when something big has happened in the world or the country and you get on and that's all it is, people fighting over it, people's differing opinions that are highly conflictual and emotions are heightened and everybody's angry and there's just the doomsday, right? The doomsday scrolling. It's not healthy. And in what dose, right? And I think dose becomes very important in this because there is a difference between burying your head in the sand and pretending this stuff doesn't happen and just constant. What is it doing for you? Is it doing anything positive? And are you really getting accurate news on social media from either side, right?
Mm-hmm. There's so many. I can't get over how many experts there are on social media.
And anybody can make a post about, anybody can screenshot any freaking thing and claim it as fact, right? So that's a pet peeve of mine on social media and even the news across any topic, right? Like, do your research for yourself to a reputable source. Whatever, that's a soapbox and a tangent.
And even with this podcast, we're therapists, but we're not your therapist. If you need professional help, you better find a professional, whether that's for legal services, dental care, health care, mental health care. I don't know how many people come to me and with very matter-of-fact things like, actually, you can do X, Y, and Z. Oh, God, how do you know that? I saw it on TikTok.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
No, absolutely not.
Yes. The TikTok told me, okay, so, and the last squirrel, and we'll wrap up the episode. But the whole TikTok told me, so we have children who do not have TikTok, right? We have age-appropriate restrictions in place for what they're allowed to have access to, and social media is not yet one of them, particularly for our youngest. Well, she had a friend come over, and this friend is an awesome kid, but has social media. Now, it's summer. They did not have school. I ran out, I came back, and the entire kitchen was a lake of soapy, sudsy chemicals in this one area. And I was like, what is going on? And her older sister's like, I tried to stop them. They didn't listen, right? TikTok said, I kid you not, TikTok said you could mix this, this, and this, and you'd get white grout. So, I mean, on one hand, I felt grateful that my kid was trying to clean the grout.
Gotcha.
But also, we had to sit down and, like, I opened all the windows and got them out of there until I figured out what they had mixed. But then we had to have a conversation about just because TikTok said, you know, just so you know, we had the educational conversation of if you had combined ammonia and bleach, this could have had a very different outcome.
And this isn't like to bash on TikTok or any other social media.
No, sorry.
As all things, there's education that comes around.
This is not to bash on TikTok, or so this is to bash on the people posting the things on. Which is...
OMG.
Wow. So... That was the perfect ending to an episode on social media. OM.
Actually, the only acronym I know these days, because I am growing out of acronyms. Our challenge for you today, TU crew, take something from this episode, hopefully it sat with you, and just decide what you want to do different, same, more or less, because our goal is to help bring mental health awareness to you and help you maintain and prioritize your mental health. And we hope that we were able to help you do that today.
And as a result, I'm not going to plug our social media right now at the end like I normally would. But if this episode hit home, feel free to share it with friends, family, and kids, whatnot.
All right. Thank you.
We appreciate you
into your lives and helping us make mental health more relatable and a part of your everyday conversation. We'll see you on the next episode of Therapists Uncut.
Thank you for joining Therapists Uncut, a production of AMP Smart Business. To learn more about Therapists Uncut and stay up on upcoming episodes, please subscribe and follow us on social media. As a reminder, although the Therapists Uncut co-hosts are licensed therapists, they are not your therapists. This podcast is not intended to substitute professional mental health counseling. If you need professional therapy, please contact your local provider or primary care provider. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode of Therapists Uncut.